The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Capital City Fire and Rescue Alaska, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 36561. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on an orientation of your new apparatus. On the passenger and driver's side face of the front bumper, you'll find dual air horns. Moving just inside of that location, you'll find 2 tow eyes. Located in the center, you'll find your mechanical siren. As we move to the side of the apparatus on the cab, you'll find a emergency warning light side facing. Moving just up from that location, you'll find a turn indicator marker light. On the face of the front of the apparatus, you'll find your headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. High beams are located on the inside. Just up from that, you'll find your emergency warning light cluster and turn arrow indicator. You do have a fire bell on the passenger side, and then also 2 emergency warning lights forward facing. As we move up to the windshield, you'll find 3 windshield wipers across the seamless one-piece windshield. And as we move to the outer edge of the cab, you'll find your mirror housing a flat and convex mirror. As we move to the driver's side, you'll find the same configuration and layout as you do on the passenger side. Here's an image of the full passenger side of the vehicle. Let's start first with the cab section of your vehicle. Starting first with the door lock and latch combination. These are easily accessible with a gloved hand, and right next to those is where you'll find the grab handle for gaining access in and out of the cab. As we move to the rear section of the cab, you'll find an emergency warning light side facing. Then as we move up to the top, D-handle gains us access to the storage location directly behind the officer seat. Up in the rear cab section, you'll find an LED water tank level indicator, and then moving up onto the top of the apparatus, you'll find a side-facing floodlight. Moving toward the very front, your emergency warning light bar. Let's take a look now at the notch section here of your pump panel on the passenger side. We'll get into more details of this at a later time. As we look to the rear of your apparatus, you'll find just in front of the rear axle your wheel chock. Right next to that location is where you'll find the stabilizer pad. As we move up, you'll find 2 emergency lights. Moving further up onto the top of the body is where you'll find 2 side-facing floodlights. Then also your side-facing camera for your stabilizer. And as we move to the rear of the apparatus, you'll find an emergency warning light. Let's go ahead and take a look at the driver's side of the vehicle. We'll focus in on the cab section next. Same configuration and layout. Once again, emergency warning light up on that front bumper area. As we move to the rear section, you'll find your plugins located here for shoreline power. We'll go over those in a few moments. And then also at the very top section, rear section of the cab, LED water tank level indicator. General view here of the pump panel area and rear body section. Once again, same configuration and layout. Let's go ahead and start now. Moving into the driver's space, we'll start first with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, electric window controls, and a grab handle. Let's move into the cab now, where you'll find this yellow placard attached to about where the right ankle of the driver would be. This placard indicates the date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, the VIN number for the vehicle, all of the fluid capacities for each component, fluid capacity, and also fluid type. At about the left knee of the operator, the quarter-turn master battery switch. Right next to that is the tech module and engine, transmission, ABS diagnostic ports for your maintenance team. As we move further down, you'll find the ABS diagnostic switch, DPF regen switch, engine diagnostics indicator, and then also regen inhibit switch. Also to the far right, a display. Let's go ahead and move up from this location where you'll find the aerial master, aerial PTO, stabilizer camera for passenger and driver side, fuel primer, and load manager. To the right hand side of the steering column, this is where you'll find your stationary OK to pump and roll indicator, water pump switch, and wiper fluid low indicator. Also, you'll find the flat mirror and convex mirror control. Moving now to the dash area, on the left hand side you'll find the start and ignition switch. Just inside of that location you'll find a switch labeled EM, which stands for Emergency Master. It will engage and disengage all emergency lights. Running and headlights, and then also panel switch, which allow you to brighten and dim lights within preview of the operator. To the right, the OK to engage the high idle indicator and switch. Moving to the left, we're going to find your transmission, oil pressure, depth level, and water temperature. On the right, you'll find front air, rear air, fuel, and volts. In the center is where you'll find your tachometer and speedometer located in the center. Diagnostic engine information will display above and below the speedometer. Let's move just to the right of the driver's preview, where you'll find first at the very top section your Pierce command zone. This is a display screen that has a tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. Please see the owner's manual for more information. It is a touch screen, and also function buttons are just below. As we move to the right, you'll find the retarder on-off switch, retarder auto apply, radio push to talk, off-road traction, tire chains, and mirror heat. Moving just down from this location is where you'll find your yellow diamond pull to apply your system parking brake and push to release. The Allison transmission pad with a push button digital readout with an informational note to pump in neutral, and then also some additional caution information placards regarding your transmission. Moving to the right, you'll find your climate control for heat, air conditioning, and defrost. Moving further to the right from the air conditioning, you'll find 12-volt access via USB style. Looking overhead, you'll find this yellow placard indicating the length of your vehicle, height, and overall gross vehicle weight rating. Height 12 feet 6 inches, length 42 feet 3 inches, gross vehicle weight rating 56,300 pounds. If you make any adjustments that may alter your vehicle, please update this placard. Moving just to the right, we have some switch panels located here. First, Emergency Master, Opticom, Air Horn, and Electronic Siren. We do have two future switch locations available. Moving further to the right, front scene, driver side scene, passenger side scene, rear scene, rung lights, and perimeter lights. When any of these switches have activated, the light will illuminate green in the upper portion of the switch. Moving to the right, you'll find your traffic advisor module. And then moving further to the right, you'll find your mechanical siren module. As we look to the very center, you'll find your seatbelt information, red indicating someone is in the seat and not belted, green they are in the seat and belted. Also, you have a do not move your apparatus when the light is on, indicating you may have a compartment door open or ajar. Behind the driver's seat, you'll find your speaker for your backup camera. Volume control is located on the face. As we move now exterior, D-handle gains you access into the rear compartment, adjustable shelf, and LED lighting. Goodyear tires, Alcoa wheels, and a visual sight gauge in the center axle area. We're now moving to the rear section of the apparatus. As we start into this space, first let's start with the door panel. Safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, and window control. As we move inside, you'll find two rear-facing compartments, roll-up compartment doors, and two forward-facing Scba seats on the rear cab wall. As we look inside the cab space here, you'll find LED lighting inside those compartments, roll-up compartments. As we move toward the center, lift and turn latch at the very rear section of the engine gains you access to your daily checks for oil and transmission. Just a quick view to the rear section, forward-facing seats. Once again, two Scba seats, flashlights, and an additional Scba mount on the engineer's side. Let's go ahead and move to the exterior where you have an air eject. This is an auto eject, and then also a shoreline inlet 20 amp.
You do have two indicator lamps above, first for your power inverter and then also for your battery charger. Let's move now to the Crosslays. In the upper portion, I'd like to point out long-handled tool storage and then also a warning placard regarding entanglement hazard. Because of that 2.5 inch, there is the possibility of entanglement, and that's why we have a warning placard here. As we move down to the bottom, there are 2.5 inch discharges located in the lower section. As we move to the pump panel area, let's start at the very top section, far left, with two 2.5 inch discharges locally controlled via ball valve. To the right, you'll find a warning placard regarding pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move to the center, you'll find the Pierce American Flag Eagle logo. This is your large diameter driver's side inlet. And then also a warning placard regarding when climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle. We do have a garden hose outlet located in the lower section, and then also a 2.5 inch auxiliary inlet, locally controlled ball valve female inlet. As we move down to the very bottom section, you'll find all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Also, as we look to the running board here, you'll find an additional flip-out style to enhance the size of the running board. Let's go back to the pump panel area. If you've properly engaged your pump from within inside the cab, this light will be illuminating, indicating pump engaged. As we move to the left, you'll find the blue Sigtronic box. This is a plug-in for your headset system and also a push-to-talk. To the right, you'll find a thermostatically controlled heat gauge for all of your gauges. And then to the right, you'll find in the gray area your master intake and master discharge. In between the two of those is where you'll find the test gauge ports. They are currently plugged and are utilized for testing purposes. As we move to the right, you'll find a yellow indicator indicating PCM fault. Also just beneath that, an audible alarm. The outer edge of that speaker does rotate, allowing it to brighten or dampen the sound. You'll also find a visual indicator regarding pump overheat. Let's move down on the pump panel and talk a little bit about some of the discharges. First, on the far left, you'll find a red air push button for your air horn. And then also discharges here for Crosslay 1, 2, and then the 2.5 inch. Moving to the right, you'll find your fire pump primer. This is a push to prime air prime. There are instructions beneath that for at least best practices 1000 RPMs. You have a water tank level indicator incorporated in the pressure throttle governor. To the left, you'll find your tank fill and tank to pump. Moving to the right, we have two electric valves. These are for the passenger side, number 2 and also large diameter. Aerial discharge is a wheel valve located in the center, and then to the right, you'll find the recirculating line, which is a twist, not a pull. As we move further down, you'll find the passenger side auxiliary inlet. This is also an electric valve, and then also the minimum operation maintenance schedule, and we'll go over that in just a few moments. Let's move further down on the pump panel. We'll start with a warning placard. Only trained personnel should operate this piece of equipment, and that's only after proper training. In between the two warning devices, you'll find the primer drain, and then also a danger indicator indicating that the vehicle and ladder is non-insulated and there is the possibility of electrocution. At the very bottom, all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Let's move now to the pan door. Behind the panel is where you'll find your manual pump shift override. It is a protected switch and also a visual indicator. You'll also find the pump compartment heater switch located on the vertical wall. As we move back to the minimum operation maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 psi, on the left, the associated GPM at test pressure. On the right, the associated RPM at test pressure. We do have a governed speed of 2,100 RPMs and a 5-digit job number at the very top section of the placard. As we move down to the pump panel area, you'll also find a pull-out step that also folds outward. As we move inside the compartment to the very top section of this compartment, this is where you'll find your inverter. As we move downward, you'll find the inverter switch for on and off. Then as we move further down on the door panel itself, you'll find the inverter operating instructions. As we move down, we have an additional toolbox located that's mounted with inside the compartment here. There are 2 drawers located here. As we move to the rest of the compartments, we'll identify adjustable shelf LED lighting on the sides. And then also as we move to the stabilizer, I have a warning here regarding crush hazard because of the movement of that device. Also a danger placard regarding electrocution hazard. Equipment is not insulated. As we move just down from your dual Scba storage location, you'll find the DEF fill location. It is the blue cap, 4.5 US gallons. Let's move down to the rear axle. We have a single rear axle, Goodyear tire, Alcoa wheel. And let's go ahead and move now from this location just to the rear of the axle, where you'll find additional Scba bottle storage and then also the silver ultra low sulfur diesel fill location. As we move to the next compartment back, you'll find a pull-out tray in the lower section, adjustable shelves, LED lighting. Once that tray has been pulled outward, the release mechanism is located on the lower right-hand side of the shelf. Here's a full view of the entire truck, all doors open on the driver's side. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus. We'll start first at the top with an emergency warning light there on the passenger and driver side. Also, you have an additional work lamp located at the very top, passenger and driver side. Emergency warning light just beneath that, and then also a rear scene light just to the very bottom section. As we move further down, you'll find your brake, turn, and reverse light, and then right next to that, you'll find a emergency warning light just inside of the area of the cluster. Also, you'll find in this section some additional warning and placard information, which we'll go over in just a few moments. As we move to the very top section, you'll find your backup camera and then also traffic advisor. Those are both loaded in the upper section. General view here with the compartments open. You can see the ladder storage on the passenger and driver side. Let's take a look at the top section where you'll find your hose chute, and then just underneath that you'll find ladder storage. As we move toward the center, I would like to point out a few warning placards and also stabilizer control. This is the stabilizer control for the driver's side stabilizer and then also rear stabilizer control. As we move to the very top section, you'll find also a warning regarding when climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle, and then also you'll find a warning regarding fall hazard, never ride on the vehicle while it's in motion. As we move further down, you'll find a warning placard here regarding direct pull on the anchor area. This is down in the lower section, lower right. There's also one on the driver's side. As we move down to the very bottom section, you can find the pull-out step for gaining access to the hose chute. Let's take a look at the ladder storage location. This is going to be ladder storage on the passenger side. And then we'll move down to the very bottom section where you'll find all of our manual overrides. You can see they're color-coded on the left-hand side. These are the ones that control the stabilizers, color-coded with an informational chart in the lower section. And as we move to the right-hand side, you'll find the gray operational knobs. These are going to be for the aerial device itself. I've got another image here that shows a little bit better picture of the placards down in the lower section. I would like to point out some danger and warning placards because of the crush injury and also high pressure because of the hydraulics. We do have a danger placard. Also warning regarding tip over hazard. A few more warning placards located in the upper portion. First, pressure hazard. Caps may be under pressure. Be cautious when opening them. As we move down, you'll find the aerial inlet. We also have right next to that a pressure gauge for your aerial inlet. Down at the very bottom section, you'll find a crush injury warning because of the movement of that center stabilizer. Also, as we move to the right, you're going to find a inclinometer. This is from left to right. And then also as we look inside the pan door, this is an 1.5-inch ball valve. This is your aerial drain. Moving up to the very top section on the passenger side, this is your hose chute, and then just beneath that you'll find additional ladder storage. Let's move down to the very bottom right side, once again where you'll find the passenger side hydraulics for the stabilizer and then also rear stabilizer control. Please see the owner's manual for setup of your aerial device. Let's move around now to the passenger side of the vehicle. We'll start with the rear compartment. Adjustable shelving, LED lighting, and dry deck material, also a pull-out tray. In the upper section of the compartment, you'll find a Shoreline inverter outlet. Moving down once again to the bottom, release mechanism located on the right-hand side. As we move to the center compartment, you're going to find a pegboard located on the back wall. And as we move to the lower section, you'll find Scba bottle storage with retaining straps. There are 3 bottles here to the rear of the axle. Goodyear tires, Alcoa wheels. Once again, as we move to the forward of the axle, you'll find an additional Scba bottle storage location for 2 bottles. I also would like to point out some placards here regarding warning, danger, electrocution hazard. The equipment is not insulated. Also, because of the movement of the stabilizer, we do have a warning placard here regarding crush injury hazard. As we move to the very bottom, additional warning placard here regarding extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures. Please be cautious where you choose to park your vehicle. As we move forward to that location, you'll find just in front of the exhaust area is your stabilizer pad for the passenger side. And then also in this compartment, you'll find a shoreline inverter outlet also. As we move to the forward section, adjustable shelving and also dry deck material and LED lighting in this compartment. We're now to the section, same configuration as the Crosslay in the upper section, 2.5, and then also an access here for a long-handled tool storage. As we move further down, you'll find the 2.5-inch discharges in the lower section. Let's go ahead and move further down now to the notch location. And we'll start first on the left-hand side with a warning placard regarding when climbing onto the vehicle, always face the vehicle. As we move to the right, you'll find the large diameter inlet. This is your Pierce American Flag Eagle for the passenger side. Also, you'll find the cab lift. There are instructions for its operation to lift and also to store. You'll also find that auxiliary inlet. It is an electric valve. That's the 2.5-inch locally controlled here. Because that is an electric valve, there is an override, which is just beneath the electric valve area labeled override. As we move to the right, a pressure hazard warning. Because caps may be under pressure, we placard this information for you. To the right, you'll find the 2.5-inch passenger discharge. There is also an override because it is also an electric valve. Moving down, the large diameter discharge, also electric, therefore there is an override. And as we move down to the very bottom section, you'll find all of the color-coded and labeled discharge drains. Additional access behind the pan door to gain access behind the pump panel. Let's go ahead and take a look at some close-ups of the images that we just talked about. First, we'll start with the cab lift. Passenger side auxiliary inlet. You can see the override next to the inlet itself. And then also all of our color-coded and labeled discharge drains in the bottom section. We do have also a running board that does open or tilt outward for increasing the size. As we move now inside to the cab area, let's start with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, electric window controls, and a grab handle. As we move inside, same configuration as we've seen on the driver's side as we have on the passenger side. Roll-up compartment door inside. Overhead, we have push on and off white or red lens lights. As we move to the forward section, you'll find the roll-up compartment door, LED lighting on both sides, and then also a center-mounted shelf that is adjustable. On the rear sections of the cab wall, you'll find your flashlights on each passenger and driver side. This is the external access looking inside to the compartment, adjustable shelf also. Let's go ahead and move now inside to the officer space where we'll find affixed to the door panel, safety and warning placard information, door lock and latch, electric window control, and also a grab handle. We do have a light in the officer space. Also, you'll find this vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, an airbag in the front bolster. Also, there's a warning placard regarding that airbag and mounting any of equipment. This is the control rope for your fire bell, and then just to the right you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. As we look more to the dash area, as we look further to the left, you'll find your air horn, electric siren, and also radio push to talk. Moving overhead, let's identify a few items within this area. First, let's start with a digital readout for your speedometer. Moving just to the left of this location, you'll find your intercom system. This is the squelch and volume control. Moving further to the left, you'll find your unit radio. This is the head unit for that radio. And then as we move further to the left, you'll find a water tank level indicator and then also a digital readout for your pump pressure. This is for pump and roll operations. As we move behind the seat, you'll find the EQ2B control module. That's for your mechanical siren. General view here into the overhead section. The next set of images are going to be that of the compartments open. Let's go ahead and take a look at the aerial device, first starting with your 4-section aerial device. As we move to the back section at the base of the aerial device, you'll find an additional storage location under the diamond plate. Let's go ahead and go back to the aerial device itself, where you'll find the pedestal. On the left, we do have some warning and placard information, but let's go ahead and take a look now at the forward section with the hatch open. At the very front section is where you're going to find your intercom system. There is a push to talk and also volume control. As we move now down to the main panel, you'll find the emergency stop, ladder illumination, and then also you'll find your scene light illumination. To the right, you'll find the Pierce command zone, tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips, touchscreen, and also function buttons below. Nozzle control on the left-hand side for stream, fog, lower, raise, right and left, and ladder control, which is extend, retract, right, left, lower, and raise. You'll also find on the cover section all of our safety and warning placard information. Close up here of the screen, and then also aerial speed in the lower section, and also emergency hydraulic power. As we move to the cover, you'll find warning and danger placard information. Also within this area, you're going to find this placard indicating the Ascendant 110 waterway dry information with a 35-mile-an-hour wind, and then also waterway charged 35-mile-an-hour wind. Below that, you'll find the monitor nozzle position chart. At the very bottom section, you'll find asterisk information regarding freezing conditions. Also to the very far left, you'll find the specifications per NFPA 1911 placard. Let's go ahead and go back to the aerial device ladder itself. As we move to the forward section, you'll find a 14-foot roof on the left-hand side of the ladder. And as we move to the right, you'll find additional storage on the main body or main section of the ladder. Let's move out toward the tip of the ladder, where you'll find the aerial basket. We do have additional hand-mounted tools within this area on the left and right-hand side of the fly section. As we now move into the basket area, we'll identify a few items within this area. First, you'll find the nozzle and nozzle control from within inside the basket area. On the left, you'll find a chainsaw scabbard storage location. On the right, you'll find axe storage location, and then also some warning and danger placard information located inside here. You'll also find the NFP Ascendant 110-foot load chart, and also you'll find additional warning placard information on the back wall. On the very far right-hand side, just as you enter the space, you'll find the connection point for your safety systems. Here is a close-up of the warning and danger placard information. And then as we move to the opposite side, you'll find additional information regarding your Ascendant 110-foot aerial way dry and also charged. Intercom system has volume control. It is passive. And then as we move down to the very bottom section, you'll find additional attachment points for your life safety belts. As we move to the forward section, let's start first at the very front with the emergency stop button. It is a push button mushroom. It does have an indication emergency stop light also indicating it's been activated. We do have rung aligned indicator light, and then also we have push buttons here for all of our monitoring devices. This is for the monitor section. As we move down, you'll find additional light controls. As we move further to the right, you'll find the control stick or joystick module for extend, retract, right, left, and up and down. As we move to the dunnage area, you'll find your water tank blue top level fill location. Moving forward to this location, you'll find the dunnage area. And then as we move forward toward the cab section, you'll find we have some warning placard information here at the rear section of the cab indicating that this is a non-walking surface and also poses a fall hazard. As we move now from the front looking toward the rear of the hose chute storage location, cab tilted. The rest of the images that you'll see here are that of the cab upright, showing the engine, transmission, and chassis from above and then also from below. These are just reference photos for you. Looking now from the front bumper and underneath the chassis area. When it comes to tilting the cab section, just as a quick reminder, when the cab is in the full upright position, the safety arm should be placed into position. Just as a reminder, when the arm is in position, do not lower the cab onto the safety arm. Please maintain full hydraulic pressure on both right and left cylinders while the cab is upright. You'll find the battery terminal negative and positive located just underneath the battery box. Your pump is fully enclosed. From this position, you can also see the tire chains in the stowed position. This will conclude the rest of the images of the aerial chassis and also engine area. Congratulations, Capital City Fire and Rescue, Alaska, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 36561. If you have any questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.